Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be with you this night and to share a presentation. Dawa asked me to do a presentation for this evening, and I was free to select a topic. And the topic I chose was the way of the heart in symbols. And the reason I choose this topic is that in the Netherlands, I live in the Netherlands, we are composing a new online program for the Christmas period. It's an online program, 8 days, and every day we want to delve into one of the 40 symbols of Daniel Cramer. You see 7 of the 8 symbols in this picture, and you will see that there is a heart in every picture. And every picture has a certain name. There are 8 emblems. I meditate, I must leave, I love, I am illuminated, I increase, I seek the heights, I am protected, and I hope for renewal. The online program is yet in progress. It isn't written yet, so this is a kind of experiment this evening, and maybe I can learn from you and use the information in the program we make. Unfortunately, it's only in Dutch. It's comparable with another online program. Maybe you are familiar with it. It's Spiritual Christmas. It's from 10 years ago, but this is the new online program. Yes, the Rosicrucians, Douwe talked a little about it. The classical Rosicrucians from the 17th century became famous by the 3 manifestos, the Fama Fraternitatis, or the Call of the Brotherhood, and also the second one is the Confessio Fraternitatis, it's the Latin title, and in English it's the Confession of the Rosicrucian Brotherhood. And the third manifesto is the Alchemical Wedding of Christian Rosy Cross, or it was published in German, and the title is Chemische Hochzeit Christiani Rosenkreuz. That were texts, but a few years after the manifestos were published, there were also made some nice art forms, pictures, woodcuts, copper engravements with the symbolism of the Rosicrucians. And that's a completely different approach than only texts, because it's possible to put certain archetypes in it. And if you concentrate on those pictures, you can become open for the divine light, and the divine light can make a transformation in yourself. So becoming a new human being by acquiring a new consciousness and completely renewal of the total being, till the physical existence, not only the mind, but also in the body. Next slide, please. Yes, Douwe talked a little about the Rosicrucians. I would like to mention 7 words to characterize the Rosy Cross. The first is the rose. And what is the rose? We know the rose as a flower, of course, but the rose is also the divine symbol for the divine spark in the heart of every being. And with most people, the rose is dormant, but it can awake by the divine light, and then start a renewal of the complete being. And in Rosicrucianism, the divine spark, or the seed, It's called the seed or the lotus or the pearl. There are several words of it. It can blossom. It can open itself and open itself for the light. And what's the aim of the Rosicrucians? We can say it is connection. Connection with other human beings, connections with nature. That's the horizontal connection, but also the vertical connection, the connection with the divine field, the kingdom of God, or the heaven, or Tao, or how you want to call it. And the aim is not only connection, but by that connection, it's possible to come to a regeneration of the whole being. Not only the physical aspect, sometimes not the physical aspect, but it's possible to create the new garment. And that's not the physical aspect, but etherical and astral aspect of the human being. The first word I would call is universal. We talk about the universal knowledge or eternal wisdom, or Sophia Perennis in Latin. We find several teachings in all genuine spiritual traditions, in Taoism, in Buddhism, in Christianism, Hermetism, nearly everywhere. But Rosicrucianism is not only universal, but also Christocentric. The Bible is an important book for the Rosicrucians, especially the New Testament, because it's the holy language that is revealed to man. And Christ is not only the person Jesus. Jesus became the Christ, of course, when he was baptized in the Jordan River by John the Baptist. But Christ is also a field of a high vibration that was always there and will be always there. And we can connect with that Christocentric field to become a new human being. And Rosicrucianism is not only based on texts, on outer knowledge, but also on inner knowing. The goal is to accomplish a certain kind of inner knowing, also intuition or gnosis mentioned. And that's a path. It's a path of initiation. And it takes time. It's a process of education. I can talk hours about Rosicrucians, but that's not the topic of tonight. So next slide, please, Douwe. Yes, tonight we want to talk about emblems. And emblems, emblemata in Latin, were very popular in the 17th century. And one of the most well-known emblemata of the Rosicrucians were made by Michael Meyer. He lived at the end of the 16th century and the beginning of the 17th century. And he wrote a book, Atlanta Fugiens, Emblemata Nova. It was in Latin and it was based on Greek characters in Greek mythology. And there were pictures and also certain poems. And he made it as a meditation book to concentrate on the pictures. And if you do that, it can have a transforming power. But Michael Meyer was not the only one who made emblemata. Also Daniel Cramer. Next slide, please. Here you see a portrait of Daniel Cramer. He lived in the same period as the classical Rosicrucians, in the time that the manifestos were published. And at the left-hand side, you see the title page of the manuscript. No, not the manuscript. It's a book. It was printed in 1617, was the first edition. And first edition had 40 emblems. And the name was Societas Jesu et Rosa Crucis Vera. And translated is the society of, the real society of Jesus and the Rosy Cross. The edition from 1625, the second edition, it had 10 more emblems. But for this presentation, we selected 10 emblems. Next slide, please. Here you have an idea how such an emblem book looks like. Here are 2 pages, and it is about the emblem meditor, and the translation from that is I meditate. At the left-hand side, you see 4 poems. It's the same poem, but every poem is in a different language. Not only in Latin, as in the first edition, but also in German, French, and Italian. That reminds me to a quote from the manifestos. It was said that it is necessary that the Rosicrucian teachings will be published in 5 languages. Here we see 4 languages, but maybe there is a 5th one, and that is the emblem itself, the picture at the right-hand side. All emblems have a number. This is emblem number 15, and it is based on a Bible text. Every emblem is based on a text from the Bible, and this one is from Galatians 6, verse 9. Next, please. Here we see the picture, the emblem in color, and the Bible verse on which it is based is, "As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men." And the title is I meditate. And in the Bible verse, they talk about doing good. So meditation is doing good. And that's a bit strange because meditation is an inner process, and that is doing good. If we look at the picture, we see a table. It looks like an altar table. And we see at the left, of course, the sun. And in the right, the upper right, we see the moon and 5 stars. So together, that is 7 planetary yes, the classical 7 planets, and it is related to the 7 initiations, the 7 rays, the 7-fold human being. We see a lot of referrals to 7 in the book of Revelation, the last book of the Bible, and they speak about the angel with the 7 stars in his hand. So we can see a certain symbolism in this. The sun and the moon is also, of course, the masculine and the feminine. And if we look at the table, we see 3 objects. We see an hourglass at the left-hand side. At the right-hand side, we see a book. And that book is the universal teachings, or the Bible. The hourglass refers to time, of course, and the Bible is the eternal knowledge. It's not the eternal knowledge itself, but it is a manifestation of the eternal knowledge. And between is the heart, big heart. Heart is a symbol, not the heart as an organ, but as a symbol. And that heart was important for the Rosicrucians because all renewal starts from the heart. It starts from the spirit spark, the lotus, the pearl, the grain, the mustard seed, or how you want to call it. The classical Rosicrucians, they were Protestants. They lived in the beginning of the 17th century, and Luther was very important for them because Luther started a Reformation. But the Rosicrucians want to evolve that Reformation because they saw it was necessary in that time. Next slide, please. Yes, about meditation. What is meditation? And here is a quote from Buddha. It would be better to live one single day in striving for insight and meditation than living 100 years in ignorance and attachment. Next, please. And here's a quote from Jiddu Krishnamurti. Meditation is to be aware of every thought and of every feeling, never to say it is right or wrong, but to watch it and to move with it. In that watching, you begin to understand the whole movement of thought and feeling. That's Krishnamurti on meditation. And next one also. If the mind is not clear, not in good order, and not completely healthy, it's impossible to be in a state of religious meditation. That is absolutely essential to find that which transcends all thoughts and desires. And that's a little bit about meditation. Next, please. Yes, the importance of the heart. We see here a picture of Hermes Trismegistus, an Egyptian sage, probably not a historical figure, but more a mythological character. And in one of his books of the Corpus Hermeticum, he says, focus your heart on the light and know it. So it stresses the importance of the heart and the light. Next, please. Yes, I mentioned Luther already. At the right-hand side, we see a portrait of him. And at the left-hand side, we see an emblem, the emblem from Luther. And we see a white rose with 5 petals. And in that white rose is a red heart. And in the red heart, there is a cross, a black cross. So we see a rose and a cross. So the Rosy Cross is a bit hidden in the emblem of Luther. The rose is not on the cross yet, but that was the work of the classical Rosicrucians. Next, please. Jacob Boehme, he was a famous mystic. He was not a member of a Rosicrucian society, but his ideas and his books completely represent the Rosicrucian teachings. And he also refers very often to the heart. And we see at the left-hand side also a heart, inverted heart, with some symbolism. Yeah, it goes too far to delve into this now. It's only to illustrate that the heart is very important for the spiritual process, for the spiritual renewal. Next, please. Yes, here are some sculptures, different artists, and they also stress the importance of the heart. And here are some statues from people without a heart, and that's not nice to see. So it stresses the importance of the heart. Next, please. Yes, that was a bit about the first emblem. The next emblems go a little quicker, I think. Number 2 I choose is I must leave. For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. It's from Hebrews 13, verse 14. And it's an interesting emblem. We see a human being with a lot of stuff carrying with him. And we see a river and a bridge. And that are all symbols with a lot of meanings, of course. We also see the mountains at the back of the emblem, and we can see it as a referral to the Psalm 121. I don't know it by heart, so I have to look it up for a moment in the book. Sorry. It's the Bible verse says, I will lift up my eyes unto the mountains, from whence shall my help come? My help cometh from Jehovah, who made heaven and earth. And the Bible text is referring to a new city, a higher city, and we see the higher city in the picture in the upper left, and the human being wants to go to there, but he has to go a path because he is low. He is at the lowest point because he's at the water, and water flows always at the lowest point. Yes, I can say a lot about this, but the idea is that you have to contemplate on it yourself, and then you will discover a lot of things. And it is all about the mysteries. And what is important about mysteries is that it is not a puzzle you can solve, but you can delve into it and you can become more acquainted with it. And there will be wonder. And from that wonder, there will become certain wisdom. We also see a heart, of course, a heart that is flying, a heart with wings. And that's a very well-known symbol. We also see that symbol, for instance, in the emblem of the Sufis. Next slide, please. Hazrat Inyat Khan was a mystic from India, and he brought Sufism to the Western world. And at the upper left side, you see his emblem, not only a heart with wings, but also a pentagram. And pentagram is a symbol for instance, the new human being, the coming new man. And you also see a moon that is lying. And it's a grail symbol to receive the new spiritual forces. And a quote from Hazrat Inyat Khan is that the star of the divine light that radiates in your heart reflect itself in the heart of your devotees. So this is a kind of prayer. Next, please. Yes, there are several realms we can enter as a human being. We are, of course, acquainted with the world of senses, but there's also the imaginal world, the mundus imaginalis. We see here a picture from a book by Robert Flood. He was also one of the classical Rosicrucians. And the imaginal world is the world of the soul. It's the world of the archetypes. And above the imaginal world, there's the intellectual world. It's the world of the universal laws, of the abstract thoughts. Next, please. Yes, the next emblem has the title I Love, and the Bible verse is from the Song of Solomon. Blow upon my garden, that spices thereof may flow. The Song of Solomon is a love song about the bride and I don't know the male name, but you know what I mean. But it's not only a love song, you can interpret it in that way, but it's also a song, a poem about the alchemical wedding, about the bride, a symbol of the soul, and the husband, the symbol of the spirit. So the soul and the spirit can become one in one person. And that was the goal of the Rosicrucian, and it still is. And not only for the Rosicrucians, it is the goal for all authentic spiritual traditions. Here we see a kind of alchemical symbol, because the heart is in fire. It is inspired by a new heat, a new warmth, and it receives the frankincense from the Holy One, from God. You see the hand of God, and it is powering frankincense in the heart. And yeah, it's a symbol of the soul, for instance. And there will be love. And love you can also see in, for instance, paintings by Rembrandt van Rijn. Rembrandt was a famous Dutch painter. Next slide, please. Here we see Mary at the right-hand side and Joseph at the left-hand side, and we see an angel. So there is love between those two, Mary and Joseph, but there's also a connection with the divine, with the angel. And from that, can become a new human being. Mary we can see as an aspect of ourself, and Joseph also an aspect of ourself. The soul and the spirit, they can come together, and there will be born a new human being, a light being. Next, please.
Something is not working here. There.
Oh yes, here we see a portrait of Rembrandt van Rijn and the Bible in Dutch. The Dutch Bible was published in 1637, and Rembrandt read the Bible and made a lot of paintings and engravings based on the Bible, and also about the nativity, about the story of the birth of Jesus. Next, please. I am illuminated. In thy light we see light. It's a verse from the Psalms. And the picture here, the emblem, is the heart, the central again. And the heart is upon the Word, the living Word. It reminds me to John, the Gospel of John, the beginning of the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was by God, and the Word was God. And we see a lantern that is held by the Holy One, by God, and it illuminates. So we see light, life, and the word. And it's based on also based on the beginning of the Gospel of John. We see also one eye in the heart. Why one eye and not two? Because all human beings have two eyes and not one. Maybe it is because it refers not to our physical eye, but to our spiritual eye. It's the center in the forehead. It's the third eye that can be opened by the divine light. And when that happens, the new human being is born as a child. Next one, please. And here's a painting of Rembrandt. You see the nativity story with the Mary and Joseph, of course, and also the shepherds. And the newborn child is radiating light. He did it very nice. Next, please. Yes, we can see the story of Jesus as a historical one, but it's also something we can experience in ourselves. And a mystic from the 17th century, Angelus Silesius, from northern Germany, he said, Christ could be born 1,000 times in Galilee, but all in vain until he is born in me. So it's not only exoteric approach, but also esoteric. It's the birth of Jesus in us. Next, please. Here's the next emblem. When Jesus is born, after that, he grows. And this emblem shows growth from the seeds, the food from the heart. And we see 3 plants, and the heart is in thorns. So that there is a kind of pain. Growth is accompanied with pain. And the sun is irradiating. And it is about the seed that is becoming a plant. I increase. But that on the ground they are, which in honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep it and bring forth fruit with patience. Patience is important. It's a slow process. So you have to have patience to go the spiritual path. Next, please. Yes, we saw 3 plants. It reminds me to the 3 wise men from the East that visited Jesus, and the adoration of the Magi. And they have presents. They have the presence of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Next, please. And the gold can be a symbol of the spirit, and frankincense of the soul, and myrrh, it's used in for medicine. It refers to the body. So body, soul, and spirit has to become one, and we can't do that by ourselves. We need the gifts, the magical gifts from the 3 wise men. Next, please. Yes, if you want to go the spiritual path, you're very enthusiastic at the beginning, but it takes a short time, then you will experience all kinds of difficulties, because the prince of this world don't want you to go that path. So there are forces that want to catch you and to keep you in a low vibration. And it is necessary to improve your vibration. So if you improve your vibration, if you higher your vibration, you will be protected. And the Bible verse from the Psalm is, "Deliver me, O God, from mine enemies. I flee unto thee to hide me." And in the picture we see again the heart with the wings, but also a kind of dragon, a flying dragon. And the dragon is a symbol of the all forces of this world who want to keep you in slavery and who want to stop you from going the spiritual path. And every pupil will experience that. And it's a kind of battle. Not an outer battle, but an inner battle. Because the world is in yourself, of course. Not the world is in yourself, but also the divine aspect. So as human beings, we are twofold. We are eternal beings, but also mortal beings, of course. And that's also a famous saying from Hermes Trismegistus, from the Egyptian sage. Next, please. But if we go the path and if we are focused, we are protected. Protected by the wings of God. The Bible verse is, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress." This also refers to the end of the Fama, the conclusion of the Fama Fraternitatis from 1614. And the last sentence is, "Under the wings of, under your wings or Jehovah." I don't know exactly, I'm sorry, but it refers to the Fama. And then there is light, of course, but the light is in such a way that it doesn't harm. So the wing protects the heart. You don't get the high vibrations. You can't absorb. It also reminds me to a famous picture of the classical Rosicrucians. It's a castle. It's a strange picture. It's a castle on wheels. And that is also a symbol for a certain power field. If a group goes the path together, there will evolve a power field that is a protection for evil forces. And in such a power field, we can develop as spiritual beings. Next, please. Yes, this is also a picture again of a painting again by Rembrandt. Here we see the flight to Egypt. We see a donkey and Joseph, and on the donkey there is Mary with the newborn child Jesus. And they fly to Egypt. Why? Egypt is the country of the mysteries. And why did they flee? Because there were forces of this world represented by Herod, because Herod wants to kill the newborn king. But there was a dream. Joseph had a dream to go to Egypt, and he did it. So the newborn child found a safe place in the mystery schools of Egypt. Next, please. And here we see a conclusion. I hope for renewal. And it refers to the ark of Noah. We see the heart, and in the heart is a tree, and in the tree is a dove with an olive leaf. And the Bible verse is, and the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. And this is after the water flood, and that is a new earth. And that can also be in us. There can be a new earth in us. Yes, I think that's it. The last slide shows the process in an artistic way. Become free from all material, and the small spark in the heart became a fire, and it's escaping from all the bonds and become a free human being. Thank you for your attention, and I think this was the presentation, and I'm very curious to our exchange now.